We all need it, but for so many of us, a truly great night's sleep can feel like it's completely out of reach. It's something pretty much everyone struggles with, but today we're going to dig into why sleep can be especially tricky for women. I mean, it's the question we ask ourselves as we're tossing and turning at 2 a.m., right? If that sounds familiar, you are definitely not alone. And the reasons, well, they often go way deeper than just a busy day or a little bit of stress.
And get this, the scale of this problem is huge. Research shows that nearly one-third of the entire population says they deal with sleep disturbances. That is a massive number of people who are just feeling tired and groggy and not their best. But for women, there's an extra layer to this whole story. There's this kind of hidden architect working behind the scenes, shaping our sleep from night to night, and even across our entire lives. And that architect? It's our hormones. Okay, so here's our game plan for this explainer. First, we'll look at the hormonal conductor, the why behind it all. Then we'll take a journey through a lifespan of sleep. After that, we're going to get super practical and talk about building your own sleep sanctuary. And finally, we'll wrap it all up with the biggest takeaways. So let's start with the why. Because to really get a handle on our sleep, we have to look inside at the powerful biological forces that are calling the shots. The easiest way to think about this is like a symphony orchestra. Your reproductive hormones, we're talking mainly estrogen and progesterone, they're the lead instruments. When they're all playing in perfect harmony, the result is just a beautiful, peaceful night. But if one is out of tune or decides to change its tempo, the whole performance can fall apart. So let's meet the two stars of the show. On one side, we've got progesterone, which you can basically think of as the ultimate sleep promoter. And on the other side, there's estrogen, which has a much more, well, complex and dynamic job. Progesterone is seriously our friend when it comes to rest. It literally has sleep-promoting, almost hypnotic effects. It also helps stimulate our breathing, which acts as this natural protection against things like sleep apnea. The bottom line is pretty simple. Generally speaking, more progesterone equals better, deeper sleep. Estrogen, on the other hand, is a bit of a wild card. For younger women, its direct effect on sleep can be kind of hard to pin down, but here's what we know for sure. When estrogen levels start to drop during the lead up to menopause, sleep quality often takes a nosedive right along with it. We're talking lower sleep efficiency, which just means more time spent in bed awake, and waking up a lot more during the night. Okay, so let's look at how this whole hormonal orchestra performs throughout a woman's life, because it definitely doesn't play the same tune forever. The music changes, sometimes dramatically at different stages, and our sleep changes right along with it. And if you look at it from a high level, you can see a really clear pattern. In our reproductive years, sleep quality kind of rises and falls with our monthly cycle. Then during pregnancy, sleep just tends to get worse and worse. And as we head into menopause, sleep problems can become way more common. So let's zoom in on the menstrual cycle. You ever notice that your sleep just tanks right before you get your period? Yep, there's a real biological reason for that. It happens during what's called the late luteal phase, and it's when our best sleep buddy, progesterone, takes a steep nosedive. As it drops, we're more likely to be awake more and wake up more often during the night. Now, pregnancy, that introduces a whole new level of challenge. While hormones are going wild, their effect on sleep is often overshadowed by some very real physical issues. We're talking aches and pains, getting up to use the bathroom what feels like 100 times a night, heartburn, and the risk of restless leg syndrome goes up. It's just the perfect storm of things that can make good sleep feel impossible. Okay, so we've talked a lot about the why, the hormones and life stages behind all this. And that might feel a little out of our hands. But here comes the really empowering part. While we can't always control our internal biology, we have a ton of control over our external environment. So it's time to pivot to the how. We can literally turn our bedrooms into a sanctuary for sleep by focusing on just a few key things: mastering the light, getting the temperature just right, and designing the whole space for calm. Let's walk through it. First up, light. Your brain needs one simple signal to get ready for sleep: darkness. I mean, pure, complete darkness. So yeah, that means getting blackout curtains to block out straight lights. It also means ditching the blue light from your phone, your TV, and even standard light bulbs for an hour or two before bed. And hey, if you need a nightlight, make it a dim, warm-colored one and keep it low to the ground so it's not shining in your face. Next, temperature. This one's a game changer. Your body's internal temperature actually needs to drop a little bit to fall asleep and stay asleep. And experts all agree the sweet spot for your bedroom is somewhere between 60 and 70 degrees Fahrenheit. A cool room is honestly one of the best and simplest sleep aids out there. Okay, here's a fun one you might not have ever heard before. Believe it or not, the actual color of your bedroom walls can affect how well you sleep.
So here's the science behind it. You have these special receptors in your eyes that are really sensitive to the color blue. When they see soft blue tones, it actually tells your brain to make more melatonin, that's the sleep hormone, and less cortisol, the stress hormone. So for the best effect, you want to go with soft pastels. And this is key, always use flat paint because a glossy finish will just reflect light.
Whew, we've covered a lot of ground, from what's happening inside our bodies to what we can do in our own rooms. So let's bring it all home and turn all this knowledge into action.
So let's recap. What do you really need to remember? First, your hormones, especially progesterone, are huge players in how well you sleep. Second, it's totally normal for your sleep to change as you go through life. And third, and this is the most important one, you have the power to create an amazing sleep environment by focusing on those key areas: darkness, cool temps, and a calming design.
Really, it all boils down to this. When you understand the science of why you might be struggling, it gives you the power and the motivation to master the how, the practical things that can make a real difference. So I'll just leave you with this question to think about. With all this new info, what's one small change, just one thing, you could make to your